Guys, so today we are reading pages 190 to 218 in our Wonder Book. And following the story, please answer the discussion question in the discussion channel on our teams in our classroom. Alright, let's begin. So remember, we are talking to, what's his name, guys? The boyfriend. I can't remember the boyfriend. Let's see. You're probably screaming at me now. Justin. There are so many J names. Justin, Jake, Jack, Will, Julian. Alright. So we're on Jake's side. Or Justin's. See? Told you. Okay. Valentine's Day. I give Olivia a heart necklace for Valentine's Day. And she gives me a messenger bag she made out of old floppy disk. Very cool how she makes things like that. Earrings out of pieces of circuit board, dresses out of t-shirt, bags out of old jeans. She's so creative. I tell her she should be an artist someday, but she wants to be a scientist. Genetics. Of all things. She wants to find cures for people like her brother, I guess. We make plans for me to finally meet her parents, a Mexican restaurant on Amford Ave, near her house on Saturday night. All day long I'm nervous about it. And when I get nervous, my tics come out. I mean, my tics are always there, but they're not like they used to be when I was little. Nothing like a few hard blinks and occasional head pull. But when I am stressed, they get worse. I'm definitely stressing about meeting her folks. They're waiting inside when I get to the restaurant. The dad gets up and shakes my hand. Mom gives me a hug. I give Auggie a hello fist punch. I kiss Olivia on the cheek before I sit down. It's nice to meet you, Justin. We've heard so much about you. Her parents couldn't be nicer. Put me at ease right away. The waiter brings over menus and I notice his expression the moment he lays eyes on August. But I pretend not to notice. I guess we're all pretending not to notice things tonight. The waiter, my tics. The way August crushes tortilla chips on the table with spoons and the crumbs into his mouth. I look at Olivia and she smiles at me. She knows. She sees the waiter's face. She sees my tics. Olivia is a girl who sees everything. We spend our entire dinner talking and laughing. Olivia's parents ask me about my music, how I got into the fiddle and stuff like that. And I tell them about how I used to play classical violin, but I got into the Appalachian folk music, then Zydeco, and they're listening to every word like they are really interested. They tell me to let them know the next time my band's playing a gig so they can come on. I'm not used to all the attention, to be truthful. My parents don't have a clue what I do with my life. They never ask. We never talk about this. I don't think they even know I traded my Baroque violin for an 8-string Hardinger fiddle 2 years ago. After dinner, we got back to Olivia's for ice cream. Their dog greets us at the door. An old dog, super sweet. She's thrown up all over the hallway, though. Olivia's mom rushes to get paper towels, while Dad picks up the dog like a baby. "What's up, old girl?" he says, and the dog's in heaven, tongue hanging out, tail wagging, legs in the air at awkward angles. "Dad, tell Justin how you got Daisy," says Olivia. "Yeah," says Auggie. And Dad smiles and sits down on the chair with the dog still cradled in his arm. It's obvious. He's told this story lots of times, and they just love to hear it. "So I'm coming home from the subway one day," he says, "and a homeless guy I've never seen in the neighborhood before is pushing a floppy mutt in a stroller. He comes up to me and says, "Hey, mister, want to buy a dog?" Without even thinking about it, I say, "Sure, how much you want?" He says, $10. So I give him $20 I have in my wallet, and he hands me the dog. Justin, I'm telling you, you've never smelled anything so bad in your life. She stank so much, I can't even tell you. So I took her right from there to the vet down the street, and then I brought her home. Didn't even call me first, by the way. The mom interjects as she cleans the floor to see if I'm okay with his bringing home some homeless dog. The dog actually looks over at Mom when she says this, like she understands everything everyone is saying about her. She's a happy dog. Like she knows she lucked out that day finding this family. I kind of know how she feels. I like Olivia's family. They laugh a lot. My family's not like that at all. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 4, and they pretty much hate each other. I grew up spending half of every week in my dad's apartment in Chelsea and the other half in my mom's place in Brooklyn Heights. And I have a half-brother who's 5 years older than me and barely knows I exist. For as long as I can remember, I felt like my parents could hardly wait for me to be old enough to take care of myself. You can go to the store by yourself. Here's the key to the apartment. It's funny how there's a word like overprotected to describe parents, but there's no word for the opposite. What would you do? What word do you use to describe a parent who don't protect enough? Underprotect, neglectful, self-involved, lame, all of the above. Ooh, my hair just tickled my nose. Olivia's family tells each other, "I love you," all the time. I can't remember the last time anyone in my family said that to me. By the time I go home, my tics have all stopped. Our Town. We're doing the play Our Town for the spring show. This year, Olivia dares me to try out for the lead role, the stage manager, and somehow I get it. Total fluke. Never got any leads roles in anything before. I tell Olivia she brings me good luck. Unfortunately, she doesn't get the female lead, Emily Gibbs. The pink-haired girl named Miranda gets it. Olivia gets a bit part and is also the Emily understudy. I'm actually more disappointed than Olivia is. She almost seems relieved. "I don't love people staring at me," she says, which is sort of strange coming from such a pretty girl. A part of me thinks maybe she blew her audition on purpose. The spring show is at the end of April. It's mid-March now, so that's less than 6 weeks to memorize my part, plus rehearsal time, plus practicing with my band, plus finals, plus spending time with Olivia. It's going to be a rough 6 weeks, that's for sure. Mr. Davenport, the drama teacher, is already manic about the whole thing. Will drive us crazy by the time it's all over, no doubt. I heard through the grapevine that he'd been planning on doing The Elephant Man, but changed it to Our Time at the last minute. And that change took a week off of our rehearsal schedule. Not looking forward to the craziness of next month and a half. So guys, quick pause. Elephant Man is the story of a boy who turns into a man, of course, and his face has deformities. He has a rare disease. So think about why the art or the music director would change the play this year. Alright, Ladybug. Olivia and I are sitting on the front stoop. She is helping me with my lines. It's a warm March evening, almost like summer. The sky is still bright crane, but the sun is low, the sidewalks are streaked, and with long shadows. I'm reciting. Yes, the sun's come up, and over 1,000 times summer and winter have cracked the mountains. A little bit more than the rains have brought down some of the dirt. Some babies that weren't even born before have begun talking regular sentences already, and the number of people who thought they were right young and spry have noticed that they can't bond up a flight of stairs like they used to without their hearts fluttering a little. I shake my head. Can't remember the rest. All that can happen in 1,000 days, Olivia prompts me, reading from the script. Right, I say, shaking my head. I sigh. I'm white, Olivia. How the heck am I going to remember all these lines? Will you? She answers confidently. She reaches out the cups with her hands over a ladybug that appears out of nowhere. See? It's a sign. It's a good luck sign, she says, slowly lifting the top hand to reveal the ladybug walking on the palm of her other hand. Good luck, or just a hot weather joke. Of course, good luck, she answers, watching the ladybug crawl up her waist. There should be a thing about making a wish on a ladybug. Auggie and I have to do that with fireflies when we were just little. She cups her hands over the ladybug again. Come on, make a wish. Close your eyes. I dutifully close my eyes. A long second pause, then I open them. Did you make a wish, yes? Yep. She smiles, uncups her hands, and the ladybug is on, as if on cue, spreads his wings and flits away. Don't you want to know what I wish for? I asked, kissing her. No, she answered shyly, looking up at the sky, which at this very moment is the exact color of her eyes. I made a wish too, she said mysteriously, but she has so many things she could wish for. I have no idea what she's thinking. The bus stop. Olivia's mom, Auggie, Jack, and Daisy come down to the stoop just as I'm saying goodbye to Olivia. Slightly awkward since we're in the middle of a nice long kiss. Hey guys, says Mom, pretending not to see anything, but the two boys are giggling. Hi, Mr. Pullman. Please call me Isabel Justin, she says again. It's like the third time she's told me this, so I really need to start calling her that. I'm heading home, I say. As if to explain. Oh, are you heading to the subway, she says, following the dog with a newspaper. Can you walk Jack to the bus stop? No problem. That's okay with you, Jack? The mom asked him. He shrugs. Justin, can you stay with him until the bus comes? Of course. We all say our goodbyes. Olivia winks at me. You don't have to stay with me, says Jack as we're walking up the block. I take the bus by myself all the time. Augie's mom is way too overprotective. He got low, gravely voice. Little like a little tough guy. He kind of looks like one of those Little Rascal kids in the old black and white movies, like he should be wearing a newsboy caps and knickers. We get to the bus stop, and the schedule says the bus will be there in 8 minutes. I'll wait with you, I tell him. Up to you, he shrugs. Can I borrow $1? I want some gum. I fish $1 out of my pocket and watch him cross the street at the grocery store on the corner. He seems too small to be walking around by himself. Somehow, then I think how I was that young when I started taking the subway by myself. Way too young. I'm going to be an overprotective dad someday. I know it. My kids are going to know I care. I'm waiting there for a minute or two when I notice 3 kids walking up the block from the other direction. They walk right past the grocery store, but one of them looks inside and nudges the other 2, and they all back up and look inside. I can tell they were up to no good, all elbowing each other and laughing. One of them is Jack's height, but the other two look much bigger, more like teens. They hide behind the fruit stand in front of the store. Then, when Jack walks out, they trail him, making a loud throw-up noises. Jack casually walks around the corner to see who they're making fun of, high-fiving each other and laughing. Little jerks. Jack crosses the street like nothing happened and stands next to me at the bus stop, blowing a bubble. "Friends of yours?" I finally say. "Ha," he says. He's trying to smile, but I can see he's upset. "Just some jerks from my school," he said. "A kid named Julian and his two gorillas, Henry and Miles." "Do they bother you like that a lot?" "No, they've never done that before. They never done that in school, or they'd get kicked out. Julian doesn't even live around here, so I guess it was just my bad luck running into him." It's not a big deal," he assures me. We both automatically look down ants for Ab to see the buses coming. "We're sort of in a war," he says after a minute, as if that explains everything. Then he pulls out a crumpled piece of loose leaf paper from his jeans pocket and gives it to me. I unfold it. It's a list of names of 3 columns. "You turn the whole grade against me," says Jack. "Not the whole grade," I pointed out, looking down at the list. "He leaves me a note in my locker and stuff like that. Everybody hates you. You should tell the teacher about that." Jack looks at me like I'm an idiot and shakes his head. "Anyway, you have all these neutrals," I say, pointing to the list. Sorry guys, my hair is like on my nose. Right, "if you get them on your side, things will even up a bit." "Yeah, well, that's going to happen," he says sarcastically. "Why not?" He shoots me another look. I'm absolutely the stupidest guy he's ever talked to in the world. "What'd I say?" He shakes his head like I'm hopeless. "Let's just say," he says, "I'm friends with someone who isn't exactly the most popular kid in school." Then it hits me. He's not coming out and saying, "August, this is all about his being friends with August, and he doesn't want to tell me because I'm his sister's boyfriend." Yeah, of course, makes sense. We see the bus coming down ants for Ab. "Well, just hang in there," I tell him, handing back the paper. "Middle school is about as bad as it gets. Then it gets better. Everything works out." He shrugs and shoves the list back in his pocket. We wave by when he gets on the bus. I watch it pull away. When I get to the bus station 2 blocks away, I see the same 3 kids hanging out in front of the bagel place next door. They're still laughing and yucking each other like they're some kind of gangbangers. Little rich boys in expensive skinny jeans acting tough. Don't know what possesses me. I take off my glasses, put them in my pocket, tuck my fiddle case under my arm so the pointy thing is facing up. I walk over to them, face scrunched, mean looking. They're looking at me, laughs dying on their lips. They look at me, laughs dying on their lips when they see me. Ice cream cones at odd angles. So, listen up. Don't mess with Jack.
"I didn't get that. Could you try again?"
Sorry guys, that was my watch. Yo, listen up. Don't mess with Jack, I say really slowly, gritting my teeth. My voice is all Clint Eastwood tough guy. Mess with him? Again? And you'll really be very, very sorry. And then I tap on my fiddle case for effect. Got it? They nod in unison, ice cream dripping into their hands. Good. I nodded mysteriously and sprint down the subway, 2 steps at a time. Rehearsal. The play is taking up almost all my time as we get closer to opening night. Lots of lines to remember, long monologues where it's just me talking. Olivia had a great idea, though, and it's helping. I have my fiddle with me on stage and play it a bit while I'm talking. It's not written that way, but Mr. Davenport thinks it adds extra folky element to have a strange manager plucking on a fiddle. For me, it's so great because whenever I need a second to remember my next line, I just start playing Little Soldier Joy on my fiddle, and it buys me some time. I've gotten to know the kids in the show a lot better, especially the pink-haired girl who plays Emily. Turns out she's not nearly as stuck-up as I thought she was, given the crowd she hangs out with. Her boyfriend, this built jock who's a big deal on the varsity sports circuit at school, it's a whole world that I have nothing to do with, so I'm kind of surprised that Miranda girl turns out to be a kind of nice. One day, we're sitting on the floor stage waiting for the tech guys to fix the main spotlight. So, how long have you and Olivia been dating? She asked out of the blue. About 4 months now, I say. Have you met her brother? She said casually. It's so unexpected that I can't hide my surprise. You know Olivia's brother? I asked. Via didn't tell you? We used to be good friends. I've known Auggie since he was a baby. Oh yeah, I think I knew that, I answered. I don't want to let on that Olivia had not told me about any of this. I don't want to let on how surprised I am that she called her Via. Nobody but Olivia's family calls her Via. And here this pink girl who I thought was a stranger is calling her Via. Miranda laughs and shakes her head, but she doesn't say anything. This is an awkward silence, and then she starts fishing through her bag and pulls out her wallet. She rifles through a couple of pictures and hands one to me. It's of a little boy in the park on a sunny day. He's wearing shorts and a t-shirt and an astronaut helmet that covers his entire head. It's like 100 degrees that day, it says smiling in the picture, but he wouldn't take the helmet off for anything. He wore it for like 2 years straight. In the winter and the summer at the beach, it was crazy. I've seen pictures in Olivia's house. I'm the one who gave him that helmet, she says. She sounds a little proud of herself. She takes the picture away carefully and inserts it back into her wallet. Cool, I answer. So are you okay with it, she says, looking at me. I look at her blankly. Okay with what? She raises her eyebrow, like she doesn't believe me. You know what I'm talking about, she says, and takes a long drink of her water bottle. Let's face it, she continues. The universe was not kind to Auggie Pullman. Bird. Why didn't you tell me that you and Miranda Navis used to be friends, I say to Olivia the next day. I'm really annoyed at her for not telling me this. It's not a big deal, she answered defensively, looking at me like I'm weird. It's a big deal, I say. I look like an idiot. How could you not tell me? You've always acted like you didn't even know her. I don't know her, she answered quickly. I don't know who that pink-haired cheerleader is. The girl I knew was a total dork who collected American Girl dolls. Oh, come on, Olivia. You come on. You could have mentioned it to me at some point, I say quietly, pretending not to notice the big fat tear that suddenly started rolling down her cheek. She shrugged, fighting back the bigger tears. It's okay, I'm not mad, I say, thinking the tears are about me. I honestly don't care if you're mad, she says spitefully. Oh, that's real nice, I fired back. She doesn't say anything. The tears are about to come. Olivia, what's the matter, I say. She shakes her head. She doesn't want to talk about it, but all of a sudden the tears start rolling a mile a minute. I'm sorry. It's not you, Justin. I'm just crying because you, she finally says through her tears. Then why are you crying? Because I'm an awful person. What are you talking about? She's not looking at me, wiping her tears with the palm of her hand. I haven't told my parents about the show, she said quickly. I shake my head because I don't quite get what she's telling me. That's okay, I say. It's not too late. There are still tickets available. I don't want them to come to the show, Justin, she interrupts impatiently. Don't you see what I'm saying? I don't want them to come. If they come, they'll bring Auggie with them. And I just don't feel like... Here, she's hit by another round of crying and doesn't let her finish talking. I pull my arm around her. I'm an awful person, she says through her tears. You're not an awful person, I said softly. Yes, I am, she sobs. It's just so nice being in a new school where nobody knows him, you know? Nobody's whispering behind his back. It's just been so nice, Justin. But if he comes to the play, then everyone will talk about it. Everyone will know. I don't know why I feel like this. I swear I've never been embarrassed by him before. I know, I say, soothing her. You're entitled, Olivia. You've dealt with a lot your whole life. Olivia reminds me of a bird sometimes. How her feathers get all ruffled when she's mad, and then when she's fragile like this, she's a little lost bird looking for its nest, so I give her a wing to hide under. The universe. I can't sleep tonight. My head is full of thoughts that won't turn off. Lines from my monologue, element and periodic table that I'm supposed to be memorizing. Themos I'm supposed to be understanding. Olivia, Auggie, Miranda. Miranda's words keep coming back. The universe was not kind to Auggie Pullman. I'm thinking about that a lot. And everything that means. She's right about that. The universe was not kind to Auggie Pullman. What did the little kid do to ever deserve his sentence? What did his parents do? Or Olivia? She mentioned that some doctor told the parents of the odds of someone getting the same combination syndrome that came together to make Augie's face were like 1 in 4 million. So, doesn't that seem like the universe a giant lottery then? You purchase a ticket when you're born, and it's all just random whether you get a good ticket or a bad ticket. It's all just luck. My head swirls on, but then softer thoughts soothe, like a flattened third on a major chord. No. It's not all random. If it really were all random, the universe would abandon us completely. The universe doesn't. It takes care of its most fragile creations in ways we can't see. Like with parents who adore you blindly, and a big sister who feels guilty for being human over you, and a little gravely voiced kid whose friends have left him over you, and a pink-haired girl who carries your picture in her wallet. Maybe it's a lottery, but the universe makes it all even out in the end. The universe takes care of all its birds. Part 6. Auggie. Let's see. We're probably not going to make it to 118. So we will pause on page... Sorry, guys. We'll pause on page 210. So I'll make sure I note that in the description. Part 6, August. So we're back to August. What a piece of work is a man. How noble in reason. How infactually. In form and in moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world. Shakespeare. Hamlet. North Pole. The Spud lamp was a big hit at the science fair. Jack and I got an A for it. It was the first A Jack got in any class all year long. He was so psyched. All the science fair projects were set up on the table in the gym. It was the same setup like the Egyptian museum back in December, except this time there were volcanoes and molecule dioramas on the table instead of pyramids and pharaohs. And instead of the kids taking the parents on the tour around and look at everybody else's artifact, we had to stand by our table while the parents wandered around the room and came over to us one by one. Here's the math on that one. 60 kids in the grade equals 60 sets of parents. That doesn't even include grandparents. So at a minimum of 120 pairs of eyes that find their way over to me. Eyes that aren't as used to me as their kids' eyes are by now. It's like a compass needle always points north, no matter which way you're facing. All those eyes are compasses, and I'm like the North Pole to them. That's why I still don't like school events. That includes parents. I don't hate them as much as I used to at the beginning of the school year, like the Thanksgiving Sharing Festival. That was the worst one, I think. That was the first time I had to face parents all at once. The Egyptian Museum came after that, but that one was okay because I got to dress up as a mummy and nobody noticed me. Then came the winter concert, which I totally hated because I had to sing in the chorus. Not only can I not sing, but I felt like I was on display. The New Year art show wasn't quite as bad. It was still annoying. They put our artwork up in the hallway all over school, and the parents came to check it out. It was like starting school all over again, having unsuspected adults pass me in the hallway. Anyway, it's not that I care how people react to me. Like I said a gazillion times, I'm just used to it by now. I don't let it bother me. It's like when you go outside and it's drizzling a little, you don't put boots on for drizzle. You don't even open your umbrella. You walk through it and barely notice your hair is getting wet. But when it's a huge gym full of parents, the drizzle becomes like a total hurricane. Everyone's eyes are on you like the wall of water. Mom and Dad hung around the table a lot, along with Jack's parents. It's kind of funny how parents actually end up forming the same little groups their kids form. Like my parents and Jack's and Summer's mom all like and get along with each other. And I see Julian's parents hanging out with Henry and Miles' parents, and even the two Max's parents are hanging out with each other. It's so funny. I told Mom and Dad about it later, and as we were walking home, and they thought it was a funny observation. I guess it's true. I guess it's true that like seeks like, said Mom. The Auggie doll. Oh, sorry guys. For a while, the war was all we talked about. February, when it got really worse. That's when practically nobody was talking to us. Julian had started leaving notes in our lockers. The notes to Jack were stupid, like, you stink, big cheese, nobody likes you anymore. I got notes like, freak. Another one said, get out of our school, orc. Summer thought we should report these notes to Mr. Rubin, who was the middle school dean, and even Mr. Tushman. But we thought that we would be like snitching. Anyway, it's not like we didn't leave notes too. Though ours weren't really mean. They were kind of funny and sarcastic. One was like, you're so pretty, Julian. I love you. Will you marry me? Love, Baloo. Another one was, love your hair. Another one said, you're a babe. Tickle my feet. XO, blah. Blah was a made-up person that me and Jack came up with. She had really gross habits like eating green stuff in between her toes and sucking her knuckles We figured someone like that would have a real crush on Julian, who looked and acted someone like someone in a Kids Bop commercial. There were also a couple of times in February when Julian, Miles, and Henry played tricks on Jack. They didn't play tricks on me, I think because they knew if they got caught bullying me, it would be big time trouble for them. Jack, they figured, was an easier target, so sometimes they sold his gym shorts and played monkey in the middle with them in the locker. Another time, Miles, who sat next to Jack in homeroom, swiped Jack's worksheet from his desk, crumbled it up in a ball, and tossed it across to Julian. This wouldn't have happened if Miss Petosa had been there, of course, but there was a substitute teacher that day, and subs never know what's going on. Jack was good about this stuff. He never let them see he was upset, though I was thinking he was. The other kids in the grade knew about the war, except for Savannah's group. The girls were neutral at first, but by March, they were getting sick of it, and so were some of the boys. Like another time when Julian was dumping out pencil sharpener shavings into Jack's backpack, Amos, who usually tight with them, grabbed the backpack out of Julian's hand and returned it to Jack. It was starting to feel like the majority of the boys weren't buying into Julian anymore. Then, a few weeks ago, Julian started spreading ridiculous rumors that Jack had hired some hitman to get him and Miles and Henry. This lie was so pathetic that people were actually laughing about it behind his back. At that point, any boys who had still been on his side now jumped ship and were clearly neutral. So by the end of March, only Miles and Henry were on Julian's side, and I think they were even getting tired of the war by then. I'm pretty sure they even stopped playing the plague game behind his back, too. No one really cringes if I bump into them anymore. And people borrow my pencil without acting like the pencil has cooties. People even joke around with me now sometimes. Like the other day, I saw Maya writing a note to Ellie on a piece of Ugly doll stationery. And I don't know why, but I was just kind of randomly said, "Did you know the guy who created Ugly dolls based them on me?" Maya looked at me with her eyes wide open and totally believed me. Then she realized I was only kidding. She thought it was the funniest thing in the world. "You're so funny, August," she said. And then she told Ellie and some of the other girls what I had said, and they all thought it was funny too. Like, at first they were shocked, but then when they saw I was laughing about it, they knew it was okay to laugh too. And the next day I found a little Ugly doll keychain sitting on my desk with a nice little note that said, "For the nicest Auggie doll in the world, XO Maya." 6 months ago, stuff like that would have never happened to me. But now it happens more and more. Also, people have been really nice about the hearing aids I started to wear. Okay, guys, we're going to stop right there because we've been reading for a while. Okay, so thanks for joining me, and I will see you in class. And remember to check out the daily discussion channel in our classroom. Have a great morning.